Welcome back to Cheddar Climate, everyone. The fight for change. Well, as we mentioned earlier, President Biden is revealing his latest actions against climate change, both on the ground and up in the sky. The president announcing the new initiatives during a visit to FEMA headquarters this week. And this is what they include: $1 billion for communities via FEMA's pre-disaster program, double the amount provided in 2020. Also, the U.S. planning to develop a new NASA mission meant to track climate change and its impact. Well, joining me now is Ali Zaidi, Deputy National Climate Advisor at the White House. Ali, it's so good to have you with me this afternoon. So before we get to this story, let's talk about infrastructure. We are less than a week away from Biden's infrastructure action deadline. What is its current state, especially pertaining to climate?
Well, great to be on. And I think the current state is that the president is doing what he said he would. He's engaging with folks on both sides of the aisle, drawing on ideas that have enjoyed bipartisan support for a long time here in Washington, and making his case for why we should invest in American jobs, in American workers, in American communities, strengthening our economy and helping us move forward.
Mm-hmm. Now, is there any hope that you will be able to find common ground with Republicans, especially as it pertains to climate and the climate pledges within this infrastructure plan?
I think one of the things you've seen year over year is growing support among Democrats and Republicans, not just in Washington, but importantly, all across the country. Support to build out our clean energy economy, support to do things like invest in resilience. These are critical things. They make sense economically. And I think we're seeing that consensus be forged in communities all around the country. It's important that our dialogue here in Washington reflect that growing consensus out in the states and in the cities and in the suburbs and in the rural communities.
We've seen the price differential. Obviously, it is massive, hundreds of billions of dollars. I mean, really more than $1 trillion. Joe Biden putting a $1.7 trillion plan out there. Republicans want something closer to about $650 million. What's negotiable, Ali, and what isn't, do you think?
Look, I think the president's been very clear on this point. The big thing that we cannot negotiate away at this moment is action. Inaction is not a choice, and we've got to seize this moment to move our economy forward. And that's what the president's committed to doing. That's what he's been reflecting over the course of this discussion engagement with the Congress. Inaction is the only wrong answer.
Mm-hmm. Let's go back to Biden's FEMA initiatives. This was some big news that we got just this week. Talk to me more about these and why they were the right move for this administration.
It's so important. We're looking at another storm season off of the Atlantic coast. As we look west, we see more and more of the West in drought, a wildfire season soon to be upon us. And it's just a reminder of how important it is to invest in the resilience of our communities, in the resilience of our people. Yesterday's announcement of $1 billion of pre-disaster mitigation grants, of new tools from NASA and our other agencies to equip the American people with the data they need to make better decisions on the ground. That's going to help us be more resilient in the face of these increasingly frequent and severe extreme weather events. It's so important. And the $1 billion, look, it's a down payment in the sort of investment we need to be making, which is why the American Jobs Plan that President Biden is advancing on the Hill invests tens of billions of dollars more into resilience.
Mm-hmm. Look, Ali, we know certainly that hurricanes are on the horizon, likely wildfires as well. We'll get to those wildfires in just a moment, but I think a lot of people, too, witnessing an allergy season this year that's much worse, according to reports that we've seen in years past. And the pollen count, right, rising significantly since the late 1990s. So I know that's been a battle. But I do want to get back to those wildfires. The California Governor, Gavin Newsom, calling for that record $2 billion fire safety budget ahead of this wildfire season. How concerned specifically about those wildfires is the Biden administration?
Look, one of the things that we've learned from our NOAA team, the National Oceanic Administration, the folks that look at our atmosphere and at weather patterns, is that we've unlocked new normals, new heat patterns, new precipitation patterns. And it's a scary reality, but one for which we have to gird ourselves, for one which we have to prepare. These investments in wildfire preparedness, in the resilience efforts that go into it, in standing up the necessary risk mitigation approaches, whether it's the physical efforts on the ground, work that we hope the Civilian Climate Corps will do, or it's in the markets and making sure insurance is accessible and affordable. We got to do all of these things. So, in the face of a changing climate, the new normals can be gripping. It can freeze us, but the right answer is to take action, to move forward.
Ali, I'm going to end with this question, just in terms of the here and now and the next immediate action by the Biden administration as it pertains to fighting the climate crisis. What is it?
Well, literally within the last hour, we announced that we're opening up the West Coast for offshore wind energy development. It builds on efforts here on the East Coast that are creating good paying union jobs here in the United States. So we're being relentless about pursuing the opportunity that tackling the climate crisis presents, focusing on the jobs that come with the solutions.
All right, Ali Zaidi, Deputy National Climate Advisor at the White House. Ali, thanks so much for coming on the show this afternoon.